Have I shocked you, little dove? Tears aren't a woman's only weapon. The best one's between your legs. Learn how to use it. Drink.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Welcome to my Game of Thrones Season 4 preview for Cersei Lannister. I know, I've been putting it off all week, but I had so many new TV shows to get out this week, I didn't want to rush it. But Cersei will not be denied! And what best to follow up an American Horror Story bitchcraft video than with the next best Game of Thrones character, Cersei Lannister. Technically, Cersei doesn't have any witchcraft powers unless you consider that time during the Battle of Blackwater Bay when she told Sansa that she could use her sex to mind control men. Zap. Cersei is actually one of the most complex characters on a Game of Thrones, which is why I like her so much. She's such an awesome bitch. But she's one of the only characters on the show that has not hit rock bottom yet. That moment where a character looks inward and they basically have to turn their life around in order to survive. That's right, most of the other characters like Jon Snow, Tyrion, Jaime, Sansa have all had moments like that. Even Samwell had to face the White Walker. Cersei really hasn't had that White Walker moment yet, but it's coming in Season 4. So in case you haven't seen my other Game of Thrones Season 4 preview videos, beware for spoilers for everything from Seasons 1 to 3, and partial spoilers for Books 4 and 5. I'll briefly mention Joffrey because you can't really talk about Cersei without talking about Joffrey, just because it's kind of an extension of that character in King's Landing. I'll be doing a separate video for King Crossbow, so don't worry though. So in Season 4, Joffrey's going to continue to get crazier and crazier, and Cersei mostly gets a lot of the blame for that, just because she's supposed to be watching him. Technically, she's Queen Regent, even though Tywin has come back and kind of taken over the power in King's Landing. But after certain super spoilery events, Cersei won't have to worry about that anymore. We'll talk about what she does after that in a second, but one of the really cool things about Season 4 is that it will be much more Cersei heavy. The really cool thing about Book 4, or Feast for Crows, is that it actually features Cersei POV chapters, which means we get to find out what's going on in her crazy, crazy head, which is just amazing. She basically begins this descent into madness that's really reminiscent for all of you Avatar Last Airbender fans when Azula went crazy in Season 3. Cersei is kind of like the Azula of Game of Thrones in Season 4. Well, maybe slightly less crazy. Cersei does not breathe blue fire. So if you remember, all the way back in Season 1, Cersei made this big deal about playing a Game of Thrones, playing to win, basically. You win or you die. Well, basically, she's done a lot of things along the way to try and win that game that are going to come back and bite her in the ass in Season 4. So to speak specifically to what's going to be going on with Cersei in Season 4, remember I said certain huge events are going to happen that are going to kind of pave the way for her to become Queen Regent again, which means she's going to start taking back some of the power that she really, really wanted. She basically replaces most of the small council with her own advisors, meaning that she gets to control almost everything just because they'll do whatever she says. But eventually, the rug will get pulled out from under her, and it won't be in the way you typically expect. In one of my previous Game of Thrones videos, I talked about how Littlefinger used to be the master of coin in King's Landing, and he basically just borrowed money for the crown, for the Baratheons, and they're basically in super debt right now. So that'll end up coming back to bite Cersei in the ass, even though she really didn't have a lot to do with it. It'll end up becoming a huge problem for her, but that will kind of lead to a couple other things that I'll talk about in a future video. Either way, she's going to end up in chains by the end of the season. I'm calling it now. It just seems like the logical place to leave her character before Season 5. Basically, going from the most powerful person in King's Landing to literally ending up, not in the black cells, but definitely in jail. But let me know what you think is going to happen to Cersei in Season 4. Is she going to end up in chains by the end of the season? And what are Jaime and the rest of her minions going to do about it? There's this really awesome mental list that Jaime keeps telling himself in his own head that I want you all to remember. Just say it out loud and let me know what you think it means. Lancel, Osmond Kettleblack, and Moonboy. Since so many of you requested it, my next Game of Thrones Season 4 preview will be for Gendry. Be sure to subscribe to get that video. I'll try and post it on Monday morning. Remember, tonight is Legend of Korra, and then on Sunday, the first episode of Walking Dead. So get excited. I'll be posting videos for those right after the episodes air. Make sure to follow me on social for updates. But right now, you can click here to watch my American Horror Story Covenant video. It's totally awesome. Bitchcraft is here. It's like Hogwarts School of Bitchcraft. And you can click here to get all my other Game of Thrones Season 4 previews. Thank you so much for watching. High five. See you guys tonight for Legend of Korra.